Okay, so this one is about a guy called Sucka Count. He's a gaslighter, and a really interesting case. So what I'm going to do is they're just chatting away over in the I don't know what you call it, but the outside chats anyway, to do with Hangouts. So I'll just run over and I'll just see what they're up to at the minute. There's two bullies there at the moment, or three bullies, or gaslighters I'm calling them, and that's exactly what they are. So it's Bulldog 101, it's Chaswold the Almighty. They'll probably stop talking now because I've got a viewer. It might pass back some information. Chaswold the Almighty and Sucka Count. Sucka Count. So what Sucka Count is trying to do, so you want our debate to be about your whining how mean I am. What are you, 6 years old? Well, no, I'm not. I'm a lot older than that. But it is the premise of the debate, because what I'll do is I'll argue from the position. Now, he's welcome to come in anytime he likes. I won't give him the link just yet, because what they do is they snipe you. So I'll give it to him in a minute after I get a few things out. So my premise will be that Sucka Count, and I'll lay out if he's brave enough, because he's a bit of a chicken, a bit of a coward, and that's typical of these bullies. I'll argue, and I'll set some rules. So there'll be three elements that we'll talk about. The first one will be the fight-flight mechanism, and how that shows us a lot about an individual. So when certain behaviours emerge, we know the flight-fight mechanism is in play, and then I'll explain how that came to be and why it came to be and what it tells us about the individual. You know, assuming that happens. So that's first. The second thing is strict rules of discourse. Person speaking gets to hold the floor. The person so it gets a little bit tiresome at the beginning, but it gathers some momentum, and it'll stop very abruptly if someone's actually not well prepared or they're lying. They'll get caught out. So someone starts the discussion. We talk about the premise or the basis of the debate, and in this case it's going to be about why is Sucka Count cruel and deliberate gaslighter. So that's the thing. Now he will hopefully come along to defend that, because he will suggest that that's not true. And so we'll have this discourse, follow the strict rules. If he breaks the rules, then he has to leave the room. There's no negotiation on it. Maybe one or two warnings, but that's about it. I'll put him into off broadcast until I get some signal that he's going to, follow the rules. So the rules are very specific. And the third element is I'm going to be, well, we both should be respectful of each other. So in other words, we have our speaks. When we want to inquire about something that's being presented as evidence, we're allowed to interject and say, can you please explain what that means, or what's your source? So those things are available. So anyway, we'll have a look at some of the comments he's made. So this guy came out of the blue. I know him from last year. I tried to have some discussions with him, but he really, seriously, I dominate a conversation, but I stop when someone else has got the floor, or if someone's moderating, I respect the moderator. This guy doesn't. He runs his own race, and what he'll do is he'll broadcast opinions, statements. When I pick up that I know that they're a lie, or I want to contest them, I'm going to interrupt and say, what's the basis for that statement? So it's important that you're not allowed to broadcast a series of statements, like a 5-minute session. What must happen is you must stop when you're challenged, and then you must provide your evidence. And if we won't move forward until we're both satisfied that that evidence has been provided. And if it means that we have to stop the session, then that's exactly what we'll do. We'll stop it. So he's turned up out of the blue, I guess because these guys have gone and got him. The two guys are Chaz Wild, Almighty, and again, someone calls themselves Almighty. It's an early warning sign that there's an ego involved. And Bulldog 101, well, Bulldog, if anyone knows Bulldog, he's a really bullish doggy type nature. I get the full-on Bulldog, so, he sits there all day posting bloody gaslight comments, trying to, which are a psychological attack. So let's see if Sucka count does that sort of behaviour. See what he says. Oh, and Frank gave me a video. So this is Frank Greensall Sufi. He gave me a video, and it was about Muslims, I think, or maybe it was his sect of Muslims, and they were all dancing around and singing songs and the like. For me, spiritually, you don't need any of that stuff at all. They were slapping themselves on the chest and that. I don't think that that's genuine spiritual reality. In fact, it's probably a distraction. But that's my view. But anyway, I'm not sure what his intent was, why he did it. But Frank, anytime you want to explain it, feel free. So now we've got this is Chaz Wild Almighty. He says, Frank, would Rob's doctor have spoken to him about bipolar and his behaviours because of it, and how he might interact with people during an episode? Well, the answer, Chaz, is no. Now, what happened? Chaz made an assumption that that was the reality. What he's trying to do, this is all related to their gaslighting attack. He's trying to profile the situation that I'm doing something knowingly when I'm doing nothing really. I'm just responding to their comments. That's all. They're driving this at the moment. That's what bullies do. So I said to him, I thought you was a doc, Spaz. So I changed it from Chaz to Spaz just to give him a bit of a needle back. He said, I never claimed to be a doctor. But if you listen to Chaz Wild in the numerous videos that he's put out, Sydney's channel, my channel, cover them both, you'll see that Chaz Wild asserts certain psychological outcomes. So he does very much play the diagnostic doctor. And then when you catch him out and say, what's your basis for that? Just say, I'm just making an observation, or I read a lot on it or whatever, but it's not the same. And you shouldn't do that shit. That's gaslighting. It truly is. And if you examine each comment that he makes, you'll find that there's no basis behind it, or that he's exacerbated a condition. And that's gaslighting. That's exactly what it is. So, and then he says, Frank, answer my question, please. And I said, Frank's off duty and you ain't paid your bills. Frank is a professional, and there's no way known he's going to come on the web and bloody support someone like Chaz Wild in a bullying campaign. Get real, Chaz Wild. He says, sorry, what? That's for Rob, my gift. So that's a gift to me. It is. Okay, well, that's good. Frank says it was a good spirit, in the good spirit, so. And then he put a thumbs up. Oh, and then I said, not necessarily, Frank. Yeah, because I saw it, and really, like I said earlier, I don't think that any of that sort of malarkey dancing around is part of the true spiritual reality. I mean, if it were, you'd see the Buddha, the Dalai Lama doing all that sort of stuff, but he doesn't, So Now, here we go, Chaz. This is Chaz again. So he says acute treatment of mania and mixed. So he's being a doctor again. He's saying acute treatment of mania and mixed episodes, initial assessment for acutely manic patients. So I guess what he's saying, or he's trying to suggest that I'm acutely manic at the moment. This is very similar to last year, right? What happened? We got to this stage where we were tit-for-tatting on the chats. But if he's paying attention, he'll notice that I'm a little bit different this time. I choose what I say very carefully. So anyway, so to go on, Dr. Spaz says, for acutely manic patients, referral to a specialist psychiatric service for in or outpatient care is necessary because aggression, excessive spending and disinhibited behaviour, e.g. sexual indiscretions. Well, that was last year, Chaz, and I've explained that, so don't bring that up. And it's not as you painted either. I know the true story, and I'll represent myself and speak for myself, and I've done that already, so I'm not hiding from it. I'm not saying that you're lying. You know, if you tell the truth, I'll admit to it. No drama at all. Are likely to damage the person's reputation. Really? Doesn't bother me. Insight and judgment are usually impaired early. Insight and judgment are usually impaired early. So I guess when was that, Chaz? Last week? The week before? Even in the absence of delusions. Well, you know, even in the absence of delusions. I know for a fact that I'm not suffering from any delusions, but if you think I am, and again, consider this, viewers, is this a normal, you know, so he's an average Joe, just like me. Is this behaviour normal between average Joes, that he's going to this lengthy dialogue, or is there something else going on here? I know this guy, and I know him pretty well, and I know he's got an ego, and I know a lot about his behaviours. This is gaslighting. So absence of delusions. So no, Chaz, no delusions. Outpatient treatment's preferable, and admission with consent is occasionally possible. Admission with consent. I think I'll find it in a minute. However, involuntary hospitalisation is frequently required, so to protect the patient and family from effects of damage wrought by impaired judgment. Okay, well, that's good. So what you'd have to do there, Chaz Wild, is you'll need to come forward and provide some evidence of those damages. And if I've done any genuine harm, I'll certainly apologise, but I don't think I have, except getting up your nose. Now, the decision to admit is often traumatic for parent family. No, it's not. It goes okay. From my experience, you know, you just go along with the flow. You don't cause a fuss. All of whom will need support. No, family didn't get any support, and family was fine. Although, you know, I wasn't with them, which, you know, and again, if I'm right about gaslighting, you're responsible for that. You and Bulldog. So what else does he say? All of whom will need support. A useful guiding rule is that manic patients are always worse than they appear. Oh, really? That gives you plenty of scope, doesn't it, Chaz? But I think what you need is a definition of mania. And you got to remember, you guys are fueling the fire. You start the videos, I simply respond to them. I'm not the driving force. So for me to be the issue, I would have to be the one that initiates. But that's not the truth. what I do is I shadow videos. For me to shadow a video, the video has to exist in the first place. I don't create a video. Oh, actually, that's not true. I do create a couple of recent times. No, but again, I'm still shadowing. There was one, I think, just a short one that I ran up. All right, but the majority, it's all driven by you bullies, you internet bullies. If treatment occurs in an outpatient setting, it is crucial to closely monitor risky behaviour, particularly of a financial nature, to end up potential harm to others, e.g. hazardous driving. Yeah, well, what happens is you go into a ward and basically you're locked up. It's pretty simple. A financial power of attorney may be necessary, particularly, no, let's not require it. Sandra takes care of that. If there is a history of excess spending, no, none of that. Since mania, in fact, I spend incredibly little money. Since mania produces chaotic behaviour, outpatient attendance is often erratic. Since mania, chaotic behaviour. Oh, I think I've been pretty stable. Outpatient attendance is often erratic. Okay, so that's where you're fronting up under your own volition. Legally enforced community treatment may be an option using a community treatment order. And what that is when you're released into the community for community treatment. So I've been on that the second time around. And you're basically free to go home, and then you just report in on a monthly basis, and they take your bloods to make sure that your levels are fine. And well, in my experience, they typically just go through the same monologue of questions. Then you go home. So now Bulldog says, this is Bulldog 101, where are all those teeth? Now, I don't have any front teeth. And so Bulldog seizes on that, and this is definitely a very, very obvious gaslighting attack. He seizes on that because he saw me without them one time when I was online, and he's trying to undermine my confidence, but honestly it means nothing to me at all. Then Chaswold, so where's the other guy, Sucka? Chaswold gives me a link to something on bipolar, so he thinks I need an education on bipolar. More gaslighting. Oh, this is me. I said more gaslighting, you sicko, cruel, and you. And I'm using that, and I really actually mean it. I mean it from the bottom of my soul. These people are actually cruel and inhumane. And what frustrates me and annoys me is that a lot of people who know that these actions are cruel and unkind sit back and don't react. Frank's one of them. Sandra's another. It's the majority case. People just don't want to engage. You don't have to do much. You simply have to just say, I disagree with your behaviour. I must be all scared of these clowns. They're nothing to be scared of, I promise you. Nothing at all. Anyway, the guidelines from your country about how to deal with bipolar. All right, thank you, Chaz. Thank you. But I already kind of knew that, and it's not exactly as written. I know exactly how it functions. Anything on helping satisfy? So then I said to Chaswold, because these behaviours, this gaslighting phenomena, is basically sadistic. What else do you want to say? I mean, it's not physically sadistic, it's mentally sadistic. Well, that's their goal. Their goal is to really wreck some, to kick you when you're down and basically bully you out of the environment, have a big cheer and move on to the next victim. So now Chaz says, Chaswold, I should keep calling you Spazwold, you accuse me of assuming that your doctors would have spoke to you about, yeah, well, he did. Jeez, chat. Please read the chat. And interactions with people. Rob, I'm not a sadist. Now, Chaswold doesn't like to be seen in the wrong light, but he is in the wrong light. You need to come out of the wrong light, Spazwold, and become a decent human being and set a proper example for your children and your family. So here we go. Here's Bulldog again, chimes in. Who did you gaslight when you got all your teeth knocked out? So what happened there, this is when I was much younger and I'd been drinking, and my wife, my girlfriend at the time, who became my wife, was up with some other guys, and I misinterpreted the situation, and I got a belting for it, and they knocked my teeth out. So that's how that happened, Mr. Bulldog. Way, way, way back in time. I am not getting off on this. That's not true. That's Spazwold. Right. So what Spazwold said, I'm not getting off on this. I don't know that I prompted that, did I? The sadistic comment. Yeah. He is. It's a massive ego trip for him. He just wants to win. He wants his opinion about reality to be the ruling force. So yes, Chaz, you are. If you win, what happens if you lose? Oh, all right, what's happening? Who's that? Stephen. I don't know Stephen. Oh, that sort of popped up there, has it? Right, so I said, he's gone. He's going off his rocker. He's typing all these long passages. I again said, you cruel human being that lies and gaslights, and that's true, 100% true. Chaz lies incessantly. Sucka lies incessantly. Bulldog lies incessantly. They simply do. And if you think that's wrong, just go and speak to other people in the G+ community and ask them if they lie. They'd probably be non-committal, I suppose, because that seems to be the form. But if they were to be honest, they would admit, yes, they do lie, and yes, they do bullshit, and yes, they do bully for fun. So where do we get to? Rob, you are the only one who is cruel. Yeah, but Chaz, there's such a thing, and I reckon you'll start doing it now. And I'll take that as the victory, and I'll move on. Rob, you are the only one who is cruel. Nah. You are cruel to people, but if it is not your fault. Well, where's the evidence? You get the pushback because of how you behave. No. All I did was come on to promote the book. And I ran into you, and you're just such a ridiculous person to argue with. I am sure your doctors have spoken to you about behaviours you have. No, they haven't. They just said bipolar and they do their regular stuff. Don't ask me why it is. How is it you are sure? Gaslight. Oh, yeah, so that's right. So this is where I asked him, how is it you are sure? So see what he's doing there? And he's broadcasting this so other people see it. He's saying, I am sure your doctors. No, Chaz. The only way you could be sure is if you go to those doctors and ask them whether they actually cancel that. That's the only way. So if you're not sure about something, don't say it. Because if you're not, it could be a lie. And in this case, that is a lie. Because I have read up on these things and understand what their treatment with you should be, well, keyword should be, but I know exactly what it is and what I experienced. I call that an assumption or a lie. In other words, Spazwold. Have they spoke to you about how you interact with people when you are suffering a bad phase of bipolar? No, not at all. You do it all the time, you nuff. That's right. So what I'm saying to him there, and he is a nuff. What I'm saying to him there, he makes assumptions 10 to the dozen. An assumption that's wrong is a lie. Just because something happens in your head and sounds logical to you, chat Spazwold, doesn't necessarily constitute it being a truth. And what you do because of your Spazwold, because of this behavior, you cause a lot of angst for people. You're an evil, cruel little man. Well, no, apparently he's not little. Although he sounds like he's little. Rob, you have just uses logic all the time. Logic happens in your head. Reality happens outside your head. Rob, you have just logically said that everything you think is then an assumption. No, I didn't. I base my thing on what I know to be true, or some trusted resources. So you broadcast assumptions of your hangout all the time. No, I don't. Not once. Oh, sorry, hang on a minute. No, you broadcast the assumptions. I say from my perspective what the truth is about that particular thing, because don't forget you're talking about me, right? I respond and I say what really happened. Then it becomes up to you to prove me wrong. And equally, because you've got a double-edged sword to deal with because of the nature of the way you draw your conclusions with your logicness, that you've got to A, prove me wrong, and B, prove yourself right and declare where you got your conclusions from. And I guarantee if I could get you into a room on my terms, I'll expose you very easily because you've lived constant lies. That's what, bloody egos and lies. Never seen so many lies. So you broadcast assumptions on your hangout. Now I'll just explain that. I am delusional? Yes, well, I think so. And the reason I say that is because ever since I've known you, you make up some assumptions in your head about reality, and then you hang on to them as if they were the real truth. That's delusional, right? If your thinking does not match your sense reporting, then you're being delusional. Not hard. You have a mental disorder. Bipolar, I've been diagnosed. I had an appeal. I won the appeal. Then I went back in, and it was all your fault. It causes you to be delusional. Well, Chaz, you've got to prove that. You've got to say, here's evidence of delusion. And then what you've got to do is you've got to allow me to respond to that. Simple. So I'll do the long dance with you. So I said, no assumptions here, Spaz. Then he gives me that again. Argue with. I asked him if he argued with the missus, right? Because he's very argumentative. Anyone that comes across Spazwold, the Almighty, will know that he's very argumentative. And he always wants to be right. And I just was curious whether he actually had that relationship, because I was going to say to him, if the answer was yes, I was going to say, I'd suggest you stop it. It ain't going to be good for you in the long run. So, Rob, how do you know that your opinion of our behaviour is correct? Well, because it's consistent. It's always the same thing. You're doing, at a macro, micro level. I'm not sure which would be more appropriate, but you do the same thing. The format's very simple. You take information externally on board. You then retell it, and you deliberately retell it so that it has a negative connotation. That's how you bully people, and this is how you gaslight people. And you do it consistently. It's like you're owned by the devil. Cruel little man. Then he wants to talk to Sandra, right? And he did this last year, same sort of thing. And she said, piss off, you cruel SOB. She don't like bullies. Sure, she did, Rob. But she didn't. I was just filling in the gaps. But that's where she sits. She's not happy about this going on. She'd like to see the end of it. So let her tell me if that herself with her voice. I feel sorry for her. Oh, really? And here's me saying I'm feeling sorry for your wife. Rob, you do not know I do not hate you, right? Chaz, you and I should have a discussion on what true love is. Love thy neighbour. You have absolutely no clue, and that's what dawned on me too. And I think this might be true, and it might be a great. I don't know how to work with it, but I think so. You know that I bang on about these two survival instincts, one being good, and the other being sort of evil. Well, the survival instinct of the herd is where the love thy neighbour concept comes from. So the behaviours that emerge from that, because you feel and you genuinely love all of humanity. And when I was thinking about that, I thought, oh my goodness, I know what I think the bloody big problem is here. I don't think these guys are aware of this instinct, and so their egos are preventing this other aspect of them coming out. So you don't create it. So I don't think that they're aware of this other side of them. And so the solution would be somehow to have an awareness. So it's almost like having a love-in or something like that. So that's why they do the love-ins. Yeah, there you go. But I think that might be the key problem. And because they don't do that, they have no empathy. Because empathy comes from that side. True empathy, not this bullshit stuff that Jazz is doing. Jazz is just saying that because he doesn't want to be seen as an arsehole. I'm Chaz the good guy. I'm Chaz the compassionate guy. But I'm also Spaz Wall the Almighty that just loves bullying people. And when he's in that frame of mind, you're just a victim. Got no empathy whatsoever. So Spazwold, that's bullshit. Calling you out on bullshit on that one. Okay, so Rob, I do prove you wrong. That always keeps coming up. Because that's Spazwold to a T. What he just hates being fucking wrong. He just must hate it. The problem with that premise, Spazwold, is that we never complete an argument. But I learned something today from Sucka. He showed me a video against the guy. I don't feel that I lost, but for everyone watching, I would have come up a loser. The problem was I didn't have a clear and meaningful. So I saw where I broadcast concepts, and then I vary them to fit how I think it really is. And that must be confusing for people. And plus, it's being broadcast. That's not appropriate. What you should do is you should explain it. And then I began to wonder because I look at all of this stuff as just the truth, the end game. And I got that from a lengthy study, 900 years of religious history and, looking around in lots of places. So I'm very, very confident that the model applies everywhere. But what I lack, and what must have caused a lot of confusion, is I lack the ability. And what I was trying to, I was hoping people would connect to the idea, like they connect to the Two Wolf story. That's what I was hoping would happen. But what was missing, and I'm not sure I'm going to go that way, but what I'm missing is some sort of detailed study that sits underneath that affirms it, and then they're going to want it to be academically proved. Golly, don't know whether I have enough time left. Anyway, let's see. Rob, I do prove you wrong. Okay, if you wish, Chaz. Read out the whole of that chat log. Well, I haven't seen that bloody. You keep talking about this chat log, and let me come in and read it word for word. Well, I'd love to see the chat log. I don't have a problem with that. And I'm happy to read it out. So I'll just ask him, see if we can get him to post, or maybe he has got it somewhere, but I don't know what he's talking about. No? Post chat log, Spazwold. So there we go. Hopefully he'll put it up there, and when we get to it, we'll deal with it. My missus and I are absolutely fine. Oh, well, I hope so. But it was just something that popped in my mind, so just asked the question. We get on well. Our daughter is wonderful. Cool. Well, of course she's wonderful. She hasn't grown up yet. Don't try and bring her up like you, and don't try and educate her based on your education. Let her just grow up and be a normal, happy young girl and experience the fun of friends, and well behaved and developing above normal rates. Of course, Chaz, that has to come in. But anyway, good luck to you. And now, Rob, I want to talk to your wife because I am concerned about your health. Yeah, of course you do, Chaz. You couldn't give a shit about my health. All you want is you want to win this little tete-a-tete. So I might give you a couple of days break. Rob, you are a bone-headed. Trying to have a civil conversation with you is impossible. Chaz, that's projecting. I don't know whether we can get a hold of other people that have sat and tried to bloody converse with you, but you are a right nightmare. To try and get something through to you, yeah, well, hang on a minute. I'm not going to take any shit you say as gospel. I've got to be convinced. Sometimes have to be very firm with you. Oh dear, Spazwold. I will happily show the chat log live online. Nah, so he won't now. Yeah, pussy, Spazwold. You can always ghost the video, and there's only 4 viewers. You chicken. Yeah, all brave in the but you just can't handle it when it's not on your terms. So I will happily show the chat log live online. All right, well, do that. Go and do it, and then I'll ghost the commentary. Do whatever you like. But if you want, I'm live at the moment, so I'd more than happily share that with the viewers, and I'll explain everything. I will make a hang and broadcast it live on air, but you have to be in there to tell me if I miss anything. It's subtle, but what he just tried to do, he's trying to lure me into the room. Now, I just don't want to go because I've had that experience, and, that doesn't lead to a good end for me if I get wound up. And that's all their agenda is. They just want to wind me up so that I get another stay in healthcare, mental health care. So again, that's his true agenda. He doesn't give a shit about me. This is why I call him very, very deliberately a cruel and heartless, little, evil, gaslighting man. Very, very evil individual. Now, where were we? So, there's sort of, there's an undertone to everything he says. I will happily show chat log. Yeah, I've read that. Or you're repeating yourself. Blah, 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 blah. I will read it out aloud. Blah, blah, blah. Well, just give me the chat log and I'll read it out aloud. What's the difference, Spazwold? How many on your team? Spazwold? How many on mine? 1. A team of 1. Or let me in your hang and I will read these things out and the viewers can see the truth and make their own mind up. If you are right, they will agree with you. Rob, you were reading out the Spaz log before you read this one. The one that Frank and Sucka. Oh, so it's here. Sucka and Bulldog are in. Okay, so that's where. So there they are. Okay, I've got it. Okay, where is it? Perhaps we better catch up. Bloody hell. Now, so this is Sucka. Sucka. So this is, it's supposed to be all about Sucka. We haven't really got to Sucka. Actually, you know what would be really interesting? Finding out a belief that Sucka held, and then finding out a belief that Spaz held, and then, you know, that were opposing, and putting the two of them in a room and hang out in a debate. That would be very interesting. Because both of them are, you know, extreme personalities. So you want our debate to be about the whining, how mean I am. Yeah, so that's right. And again, I think I mentioned it early on, but I'll repeat it. So I wanted to have a debate with Sucka in this hangout. So that was the offer. And I wanted Sucka to defend him being mean. So he doesn't think he's mean, and I think he is mean. So that was what the debate was going to be about. Then he goes on to say how mean I am. Very mean. What are you, a 6-year-old? So he's trying to belittle that sort of request. Hang on, what's Spazwald doing? No, I'm not cherry picking yet, Spazwald. I'm sort of running top to bottom. And yeah, I can't screen share, but I hope to fix that. I think. Yes. Got a new video card, so that'll hopefully end that little negative thing. Now, Spazwald, I'm not sure I can see these chats you're talking about. I just want to go straight to them. Anyway, let's read this while you consider providing it. Rob will never admit that since day one, I have always said he behaves in bad ways and childish ways. Okay, well, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, Chaz. But if that's the type of person I am to you, how can we keep hanging around? Think about that one, Spazwald. I have called you out on your lying and delusional thinking. Well, maybe you have, but I don't think there's been a single point in time that you've actually given me something that says, yes, Chazwald is right. Now, you probably drag out the fact that you gave me an insight into cognitive dissonance, and thanks for that, and gaslighting, I think was one of yours. But that's not addressing your issue with, you know, my lying and delusional thinking. So you say you called me out, but I don't think you have. I think you've just blurted out your nonsense or your premise or your assumptions or your opinions. And, you know, that's about as far as it ever gets with you. You have a mental condition that makes behave this way. Well, what's that? Just reacting to your comments. This is a symptom of an illness. Right. Okay, as you wish. I don't want to keep going. I have given you the chat log. Where is it, Spazwald? See if I can find it. Rob, oh dear, want me to agree. Seen that. Let's cut and paste. I wonder, is this what he means by chat log, maybe? Spazwald, are you talking about the one that starts as Rob, oh dear? Just go to the, just jump, because you're jumping around a bit. Go over to the Bulldog Sucka one and find, give me a cue to tell me where this chat log is. Come on, Spazwald, hurry up, quick. If you don't do it, I'm going to finish this hangout. Then you've got an excuse, haven't you? I thought you were talking about you know, a pre-existing chat log or something. There's the teeth remarks from Bulldog. Spazwold, which chat log are you talking about? Come on, Spazwold, I know you're listening. I can see you. Come on. Talk. Heck, got your tongue. Oh, here we go. Sucka's going to talk. Spazwold's typing away. Rob, go back to read that text. What text? Nah, give me clearer instructions. Sucka is saying, is this dimwit still going? Yeah, okay, well, I know that, Spazwold. What am I looking for? Can you give me the first sentence or something like that? Just scroll up and grab it. You know what it is. Just want to make sure I'm dealing with the right one. Go back to what you're reading where I said about your condition. No, that's not good enough, Chaz. Give me the specific. Oh, so the one that says Rob oh dear, Rob oh dear. Oh, there's Bullfrog. Chazwold, Spazwold. The one that says Rob oh dear. Yes or no. Starts off with Rob oh dear. Yeah, thank you, Bulldog. Nah. God, I'll be here forever. All right, I'll hear you. I'm not going to read the whole freaking lot. I'll start from Rob will never admit that since day one I have always said he behaves bad ways. So is that the one? Rob will never admit that since day one I have always, all about you. I've always said he behaves in bad ways and childish ways. Yeah? Is that it, Spaz? I'm going to call you Spaz from now on. What do we got? Rob, I will paste everything you need to read in the other one if you like. Okay, yeah, go ahead. That way you'll get what you're after. Oh, come on, Chaz, I need to be off here. Okay, here we go. Oh, lots of stuff. Spazwold, when you're in this ego mood and you're in your bully pack, you'd push me off the cliff in a minute. Guarantee it. Okay, so here we go. Where do we start? Crikey. All right, I'll start here. Bloody hell. Lol, I don't hate you. I'm chemically unable to hate. I'm chemically unable to hate. Well, that's promising, Chaz, because that's the signature of the good wolf. I do not agree with the way you behave. I do not blame you for it. Oh, you're right. That's why you're still here, fucking annoying the shit out of me. Right, Spazwold? I do not agree with the way you behave, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, I feel for you. Spaz, that ain't true. It ain't true by a long shot. I feel for you blokes, and that's absolutely true. But not over the top sort of way. You know, I mean, if you want to keep banging your heads against the wall for the rest of your life, I mean, that's your choice. I'd like to see you, become loving human beings and make this life experience, which we only get once. So if you think you go into an afterlife, think again. So you want to get it right. You don't want to fuck it up. And, you know, you pricks annoy a lot of people. But you seem to want to feed my bad wolf with your lies and bad behaviour. And I sometimes get pushed into laughing at you and getting frustrated with you. Now, Chaz, Spazwold, I don't care if people laugh at me, and particularly if they are enjoying the laugh. What I don't like is when they tell lies about me and they gaslight me. And they contribute to me going into mental health care and put me on pills for the rest of my day. I have an issue with that. Rob, you are going through the manic phase. Well, Dr. Spazwold, you shouldn't do that shit. Maybe you can get a psychiatrist friend and, you know, compare notes. Oh, there's Sucka. Sucka. If this keeps up, you will go to the nut house. Well, thank you. We won't put you there. Well, sorry. My view is, yet to be proven, is that it's actually exactly what you did. Or we'll end up there. We will be the victims of your behaviour from that. That's the bully crying the victim. No. Bullshit, Spazwold. I would rather you just left me alone. Hey, that's not hard, Spazwold. Here's what you do. Block my account and just go on your merry little way. I'll take that as a win and a good one, and I wish you a good life. But my recommendation to you is don't bully people. Go and study and learn stuff. Didn't keep trying and then go and spread good stuff, you know, not broadcast boastful knowledge, just true, accurate knowledge. Didn't keep trying to spread lies about me in hangouts. Didn't alone. Just left me alone. So go. I'll leave you alone. Block me. We won't cross paths again. Or just say, don't say anything about me, and I'm fine. You can still hang around and do whatever you want to do. If you want to sort of still keep some form of contact, but the moment you tell a lie about me, you know, I'm going to take umbrage at it. Keep trying to spread lies about me in hangouts. Well, I disagree. I don't think I've said put a foot wrong. You can always defend yourself, but you'll have to do it in my hangout. Occupy your mic with something better than trying to tell people I'm a bad person. You are a bad person. Get it through your head, Spazwold. I'm not joking when I say that. At least in this context. I mean, at home, so people change through different contexts. At home, you might be a perfect husband and, you know, father. And good for you for that. But in this context, you're one of the worst bloody gaslighters I've ever come across. And make videos talking about your book. I'm a bad person. And so make videos talking about my book. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. And actually, that's probably a good idea. But it takes a bit of time. Of a book you like, maybe to that. Read a new book and review it each day or week. Nah, Spazwold, I don't need to. I only need to know what I need to know. And, you know, if I can get you boys to come out and be 100% honest, I'll be gone. You'll never see me. Oh, well, actually, I'll probably duck back in from time to time, but I won't be so preoccupied with this. Because, but I bet you won't read this out if you're in your hang. Well, I think I am. Because this won't fit the narrative you are trying to use to propagate an agenda. The propaganda. Oh, okay. No, Chaz, I'm simply responding to things that you say. That's it. It isn't complicated. Rob, you are the only one who is cruel. You are cruel to people. Oh, right. I don't think so, but if anyone's got a problem, they can block me. And I make fun of people with egos. I'll do that. But because an ego is nothing at the end of the day. It's a false idea about reality. And so the bad behavior starts with the egoic person, and then I'll respond to that. But it's not your fault. You get. Hang on. What are you saying? You are cruel to people, but it's not your fault. Thank you, Dr. Spaswold. You get the pushback because of how you behave. Well, my view, Spaswold, is that you guys are the cause of all the trouble, including the mental condition. So I'm sure your doctors have spoken to you about the behaviours you have. And again, we spoke about that earlier. You make an assertion as if it were true, you broadcast it, and you don't check your facts. The only way you could know for sure is by ringing the doctors and asking them. And I know for a fact what they do, and it's just the same old pattern. They just run through a standard series of questions. There's really no therapy at all. Really no therapy at all. Maybe because I didn't need it. Who knows? Because I've read up on these things and understand what their treatments would. Yeah, but it doesn't make you a doctor. You're not a doctor. So you don't have the right. And I don't know whether it's illegal to do that sort of stuff, this analysis, but you're still not a doctor. Have they spoke to you? So we're just continuing on this little line of inquiry. How you interact with people when you are suffering? No. You do it all the time, you nuff. And then I'm just explaining to him about his, false assumptions. And then Chaswell says, Rob, you have just logically, I think we've covered a bit of this, because I see that word logic and the hairs on the back of my head stand up, because where's the guarantee that your logic is reality? Because logic occurs in the mind. Where is the guarantee that that logic is based on reality? No. So skip that. Here we go. Rob, how do you know that your opinion, so he's suggesting it's an opinion. I don't see it as an opinion, Chaz. I wrote a book, 900 years of history I covered. I looked at spirituality. I've been interested in spirituality for most of my life. So I kind of know a little bit about all those. And the thing is, the model, that simple two instinctual model, works and explains a lot of that story. It explains the Jesus teachings that were rejected by Christianity. It explains the behaviors of Cyrus the Great and empires. It explains the Roman Empire and the way they behave. So for mine, it seems to work as a model. And so that's what I say, that's why I say, with conviction. And I also observe people's behaviors, so a joyful person has a nice smile when you look at them. It's just a pleasing thing to look at. And you can tell that they experience joy. It tells you a lot about the person. An angry person, you can tell. A sad person, you can tell. It's not rocket science. When a person calls themselves Spazwold Almighty, you know that that's a signature that's related to ego. And then if you observe that person's behavior over time, you see that he likes to be seen or thought of as a person of knowledge within the community, an authority. But no one in the community says, hang on a minute, Chaz, can we just check where you got that bit of information from? And so you get away with broadcasting knowledge. I'm not saying that you're not right in certain scenarios, but I'm saying that you're not always right, certainly. Okay, where do we get to? Then he wants to talk to Sandra. Then we read that out. I do prove you wrong. Right, Rob, I do prove you wrong. Read out the whole of that chat log. So he's going on about that. So I'm assuming he's referring to something earlier, which maybe means we've covered it. So hang on, Chaz Spazwold, have we covered everything? I'm sort of stuck here because he's going to bloody respond here. I don't want to. So Rob, I do prove you wrong. Okay, got it. Have we covered everything? Or you got more you want spoken about? Spazwold, come on, quick. Otherwise I'll just shut it down and you'll miss your opportunity. Oh, no, he says I've missed the entire text, so I'll have to go up. Bloody hell. This could take forever. There's Sucka. Here we go. So, Rob, I'll try and move through it a bit quicker. Hey, Sucka, I'm back there now. I'm reading it. Oh, there's Beef Frog. I'm back up at Rob, I do prove you wrong. Yeah, it's better, Spazwold, it's better you put your comments there. Then I can stay in the context of this thing. Then you can go and pick up what I missed. Rob, I do prove you wrong. Read out the whole of that chat log. See, that's what throws me, Spazwold. Our letter, or let me come in and read it word for word. No, get stuff. I can read just as well as you can. And I know you too well. Now, Rob, let me read the chat log live on your hang. My missus and I are absolutely fine. I'm glad to hear it. But I thought we read this stuff. Spazwold, we've covered this. We got on well. Our daughter, yes, wonderful, lovely. And she's above normal. Rob, I want to talk to your wife. Yes, no, because I'm concerned about your health. This is you being a loving, caring gaslighter. There's no such thing in this world. Could you imagine? Hey, Spazwold, could you imagine Beef Frog? Beef Frog saying those sort of things? I can't. Beef Frog, it's because you don't know what true love is. And the reason you don't, and that's why you've probably been separated a couple of times. So, Rob, you are a boneheaded. Try to have a civil discussion with you is impossible. Well, this is pretty civil. Everyone's being heard. To try and get something through to you, you sometimes have to be very firm. I will happily show the chat log live online. Now, see, Spazwold, I don't understand this because I'm talking about stuff about the chat log, and I've already gone through this stuff. Anyway, I will have a hang, broadcast it live on air. So threat. Geez, you made it jump up, Spazwold. Spazwold, jump into the other bloody window. Or let me on your hang and I will read these things, blah, blah, blah. Rob, read out Chaz log before you read this one. The one that Frank and Sucka and Bulldog are in. Well, that's that one. So we went through that process. I went over there, read that damn thing. Rob, you cannot screen share, so I know that. but I will be able to tomorrow. Your hangs are blank. I know that. If you are going to read chat logs, then stop switching between them and missing out things. Okay, well, it's you guys that are jumping around more than me. I have given you the chat log. Rob, go back and read the text. Rob, read everything I paste in this window. Just try not to lick it. Whatever. That's Rob. Will never admit that since. So I think this is what he wants to read. Will never admit that since day one, I have always said he behaves in bad ways and childish ways. Okay, well, fine. You're entitled to that opinion, but all you got to do is block me. And none of this would have happened. But for some reason, you decided not to. Why? Well, I'll tell you why, Spazwold. I was the butt of everyone's joke, so you joined in and joined the Bulldog and Down Corner show. And, you know, you did it just for kicks, and you've admitted to that. You said that yourself, taking the piss out of Beasley because of what he does. You always preface it by saying, because of my behaviours, you're attracted to taking the piss out of it. Well, there's a thing in Google Plus. It's called the block option. You could have just blocked me and let me be. So I don't buy it. And here's the other problem. I know that you groups, and I've seen you in action against. I got to be careful here. So I think you're involved with Tom Arter, abusing him. So I'm damn sure that there are other people you've had fun at their expense. So he says, I have called you out on lying and delusional thinking. Yeah, I've read this. You have a mental condition, yes, Dr. Spazwold, that makes behave this way. This is a symptom of illness. You are showing symptoms of extreme manic episodes of energetic NPD episodes. So I don't know what that means. You can explain that yourself whenever you want. Dr. Spazwold, when you do these behaviors, you often you end up in a mental home. Well, no, Spazwold. If you guys weren't in the mix, none of these events would have ever happened. You're cruel, you're unkind, you do this for kicks. That's who you are. You're egotistical, you're selfish individuals. That's the fact. We just don't know at this point whether we could say that, you know, the behavior of gaslighting, which you people definitely do, is a precursor to the condition of bipolar. That's all. No one's going to sue your asses or anything like that, unless someone decides to donate money to me. All I really care about is that you just tell the truth. Stop making me the butt of your jokes and excuses for your own bad behaviour. You are just spreading delusional lies about us. No, they're not delusional. They're factual. I don't have delusions about us. You do not mean to do it. That's called ass licking. No, all that's happening, you guys will say something. I will simply respond to it and give my worldview. There's nothing more happening. The rest of the story's up in your head. That's what I mean. So, you know, this is this projecting story. It's in fact you guys that are projecting. What you have to understand is that you make shit up. I went through the Tomato haters session again. And there's plenty of examples in that where you're just making crap up, inventing stuff to gaslight people. Right. About us, you do not mean to do it. Well, no, what I do is full of intent, but I'm reacting to whatever I'm given. Give me nothing, no reaction back. But this is caused by your illness. Yeah, right. Dr. Spazwold speaks again, and it is unfair to those people. What people? these people will get sick of your behavior, and then you will feel like you are being bullied. No, Spazwild, I've been bullied for about 3 years now. So don't try and frame it that way. That's an absolute lie, and you should know better than that, Spazwild. If you go and look at the records, and you were there last year, you saw what went on. You're not a blind man, and your actions don't escape your mind. We don't lose thoughts. They don't go anywhere. That's why you hear people that, well, Tom Arter's a good example, right? When he had his awakening moment, he was reflecting on his life, right? Things that he thought were okay, you know, in his mind at that state. He realised that they were wrong, you know, and he felt bad about those behaviours. And as I keep saying, Jesus said that stuff. He said exactly that. That's the path to enlightenment. That's what happens. Oh, sure, hang on. Sucka's just said, all right, Spazwild, I'm coming. I'm not gonna keep reading. Just relax. Spazwild, hang on. Oh, what happened? Sucka just said, yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I think I'm pretty damn good at reading people. But if I misread, well, simply the person just has to say, oh, no, I do make mistakes, but the person just has to correct me. Say, no, I'm not. Well, where's your evidence? Simple. Now, what was I getting? Never mind. Yeah. All right. Where were we? So you do not mean to do this but it's caused by your illness. Now, a couple of things. Again, listen carefully, Spazwild, because this is a fact. If you've got half a brain, you'll know that it's a fact. Listen very carefully. You made 2 errors. Listen for once in your life. And you'll start to see the behaviour. And then when you see the behaviour, oh, that's what I was going to show you guys. Yeah, well, no, I was going along all right, Sucka, until you interrupted. Just wait a minute now. You'll have to wait. So we've got, what is it? Oh dear. Right, now, you may not wish to believe this, but this is exactly what the enlightenment journey is about. Those who seek should not stop seeking until they find. When they find, they will be disturbed. That's where, like Tom Arter, when he was reflecting on his life and the bad things he's done, that disturbed him somewhat. And it does, you know, because you realise, oh shit, those things that I thought were okay to do and wouldn't hurt anyone, because that's the thing about the selfish side. It doesn't give a shit about anyone else. Spazwild, that's the reality. You still got the good stuff inside there, but you're not in tune with it at the minute. So, so he sees that that history of behaviours. He reflects on it. He sees he's responsible, so he takes responsibility now. He's now genuinely remorseful. This is the disturbing phase. He addresses that. The only way you can address it is you must be authentically accepting of it. And if you hurt anyone, you should seek them out and apologise, because when you hurt people, just like you pricks have hurt me, when you hurt people, you should apologise. What that does, now they don't have to accept, it doesn't matter whether they accept your apology or not. The only thing that counts is you making the apology. What happens at that point, you're liberated. And that person who usually carries some guilt or stigma, not me though, boys, some guilt or stigma, that person is liberated. So take the scenario of the priest that is a pedophile and he harms young boys. Those young boys have a troubled existence through life because they feel some form of guilt, and no one properly counsels them because they probably don't tell anyone that it happened. And the idea of the counselling is to point out to them that it's not their fault. It's purely, and so if the pedophile priest comes to them and says, I'm sorry, I've done a terrible thing, it's all my fault, which is the truth, right? That relieves a lot of that guilt for that person. And now when we come forward in time and we talk about the Mark annoy you and he annoys me and we are annoyed by him, we lost a few. So when we have that situation, right, Sugar takes on guilt and owns it just to cause peace. That's fucking bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Mark Annoyer was the actual person that caused that whole situation, and it was all because of his selfish sexual desires. There's no other story going on here, and he bullied her, and then he got the bloody bully pack to bully her. Totally appalling behaviour. Anyway, let's get back to the... So Jesus is right. He's saying you're going to be disturbed. But then he says, so this is worth noting, then they will marvel. And believe me, you actually do marvel. You marvel in a sincere way at the world we live in. Not the crap that goes on in the world from you egotistical pricks, but you marvel at just what nature is. It's just such a wonderful thing. And then we'll reign over all. And what that means is this is why I'm able to put up with you pricks for so long. You will reign over all because you know what happens. You know the dynamics of the spiritual condition. Viewer number 3 didn't like that. That's probably bullfrog. And we'll reign over all. And it doesn't mean kingly ruling. So, you know, I'm not here to dominate anyone. I couldn't give a fuck about that. I only give a fuck about the truth. I will reign over all, and after they've reigned, they will rest. What that means is that you find true peace. The journey of spiritual enlightenment is finished. So you may believe me, you may not. I really don't give a hoot because everyone's got to find their own way in the world. I'd like to hurry things along a bit because we've got a number of tragedies on the bloody horizon. But anyway, what do you do? All right. Anyway, back to the roll of videotape. Chaz is having a lol. Oh no, just Chaz. I just sort of take the opportunity to give you boys an education. I keep sort of, keep putting it in front of your face. You never know. One day the penny might drop and you might say, "Oh shit!" Maybe he did know what he's talking about. All right. Anyway, back to the story. The Chaz Spazwold Almighty story. Now, Spazwold, I'm only digging at your ego. You do not mean to do it, yeah, blah blah. I do it with full intent and I respond to whatever I'm given. That is caused by your illness. Now, you know my view on that. I'm not completely convinced. And as I said, with my next visit, I'm just going to bring it up with the psych and just see what they have to say. And if they're interested, I want to ask them to come and have a look at the videos that we've got here and see if that qualifies for gaslighting. And then I'm going to ask, now I don't know because they typically these psychs say we don't know the cause. Well, I kind of think I do. I even felt that with my daughter Sam when so 30 odd years back, when she had her situation, there was a significant and very troubling precursor event, and I think it involves what do they do? Date rape or something horrible like that, which would knock anyone's socks off. And she was extremely normal. And as you say about your daughter, Chaz, my daughter was a real star performer too. But that event and that diagnosis, she soldiered on, right? And, you know, just saw her the other day, and she's really, really looking well. So, you know, but it really, can't tell you how much it destroyed her life. Oh, anyway, it gets you sad, that stuff. All right, now, where do we get to? These people will get sick of your behaviour, and then you will feel like you are being bullied. No, and I explained that before, Jess, so we don't have to go over that ground again. Right now, Rob, you are... Oops, get out of there, Phantom. Right now, Rob, you are talking about me saying about your doctors had spoken to you and your behaviour. I shared the guidelines, blah, 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 would use as my source. Okay, but again, Chaz, you missed the point. You made an assumption. That's your big problem. No fucking assumptions. If you don't know something, so it's sort of like a belief, right? And you know what beliefs do to our world. 2/3 of the population believe shit, and it's crap. And because they believe shit, empires take a lend of it, and they've been doing it all through history. All of the evidence is laid out. That's the problem with assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Fucking ask the person. I am reading it word for word. I'm just pausing to explain. Chaz, you just don't listen. I might actually give up. No, I won't. I'll continue on just for a little bit longer, but only a little bit. Now, where do we get? Oh, no, hang on, wait a minute. So, straw manning. Don't use that word in front of me. Use a description. You know what, Chaz? Maybe you're moving towards the fight-flight response. Maybe. Not yet. Bulldog doesn't have it in him, I don't think. But anyway, now where did I get to before I was so rudely interrupted? Yeah, so it's about your assumptions, Chaz. Don't make fucking assumptions. No, Chaz. Bulldog, I'm enlightened. I'm pretty sure I'm right. So you can't lose from that position. That's the ultimate outcome in life. Now, where do we go? Would use as my source. I never claimed to be a doctor. I know that, Chaz. But you assume things. You constantly assume things. You probably half-ass read stuff. And then you broadcast it in a manner to say it's true. And then when you get challenged on it, you crack a hissy fit. Dominate the conversations. Just have a look at yourself. Well, bullfrog. Bullfrog. Do you know what enlightenment? So you don't know what true love is. I know that already. But do you know what enlightenment means? Well, Sucka, you could try too. Sucka, would you mind just, and Bullfrog, you put yours in as well. Both you boys, put in what you think enlightenment means. So if you don't know, so Sucka, answer the question. Answer the question on enlightenment. He sounds drunk. No, my voice is a little hoarse, that's all. I'm talking too much to you people. If a doctor reads a book and uses that information, and I read the same, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, Chaswold, but the reality is not what you're saying. They don't do the therapy. If I explain what things mean, and specifically on the topic that you raised, and here's a point for you, Chaz, you framed that deliberately and maliciously to sit in with this paradigm that you're trying to build around me. Oh, boys, you're starting to misbehave. If I explain what things mean and then say why those things relate to you, that is evidence. Right here. No, Chaswell, you still got to just check and say, is this right? Because if you don't, then I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And in this case, you're wrong. So in other words, you lied. Rob, doctors diagnosed you with bipolar. I am using their diagnosis in what I'm saying. Yeah, sure. Your condition comes with delusional thinking without knowing you are misrepresenting reality. Well, to prove that, what you have to do is you have to point out an example, being very specific, right? And then what we would do is we would have a debate about that particular observation you made. If you're right, you'll be able to win that debate, and then your point for that particular thing will be proven. Because the thing with me is, if you prove me wrong, I'm the first to admit it. So you're going to have no drama there. But what you just did then, Spazwold, yeah, Sucka, so am I. I thought it was about you too. But typical of Spazwold, he crowds the scene. That's his ego. His little butt is hurting at the minute, and he's just trying to win an argument. This causes you during the manic phases, yeah, to get hostile and lie about people. Spazwold, without going back to the time that you boys were party to the J-Dubs incident, find the time. I probably got frustrated the second time as well, but find the time now where I get angry. Just find it. Spazwold, again, you're a liar. You're framing something. You're building it up. You're a filthy, rotten, scumbag liar. And I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to stop talking to you. Your version of reality and the reality itself are not the same. So, you know, unless you start conceding some of these lies, Chaz, you and I are done. I'll be the one doing the blocking, and that'll be that. And when I block you, that'll be forever. Now, Rob, if you stop making lies about me and causing problems, I wouldn't bother you. Sorry, Spazwold. It's me that keeps fronting up to a bunch of people, not just you, that spread lies about me. You're full of shit, mate. Now, I wouldn't bother you. I didn't bother doing anything to you over the last 9 months. Well, I wasn't here, was I? was I? When you were not making hangouts, talking about me and trying to bring this all back up again. No. I just came back and you guys started again with your usual shit. And all I'm doing, and if you have a look at all the evidence, you guys initiate stuff, I just simply respond. Now, Rob, I am sick of having to deal with you. Hey, didn't I tell you about that block button, Spazwold? Well, if you're not going to push it, I'm going to very soon. Unless there's some change in your behaviour, you're gone. Because all I want you to do is leave it. You little baby. Shut up and stop lying about me. I'm not lying. It's all truthful. Now, Spazwold, I'm getting a feeling that you're actually profiling, right? So I think you and I are done. I'll just finish reading this because, you know, I learn little bits as I go. I need to be like Rob Beasley. I need to be, well, I am a decent human being. Such making hangouts and just keeping calling people names and making up shit about people. No, Spazwold, I never make up any shit at all. I simply respond. You guys make a comment, right? I simply respond to the lies that I observe in the comment. And you are a filthy, low-life, scumbag, lying, sadistic gaslighter. That's who you truly are. And I mean that with every fibre of my being. I wish you'd wake up. because it's just a matter of bloody, coming clean and stopping all your bullshit nonsense. I wish you'd wake up, but, that's your choice. I'm not your friggin' mother. But if you spread bullshit about me, I'm going to respond about it. And that's all that's happening. Yeah, go blah, blah. Rob then says these are Pharisee lies and that he never tells lies. Okay, so I know what you're referring to there. I don't know that I've done it at all this time around, at all. But there are occasions when you're dealing with filthy, rotten people that are just hell-bent on causing pain for other people. When you come across those people, you can tell a Pharisee lie just to get you out of harm's way or to get them off your back. So that's from the Jesus teachings. Rob will take it as the victory. The victory is a win-win, you fools. I get liberated from all this crap and I get some respect back. Spaswold, right? Those aren't names. They're actually factual. That's how I see you. I honestly see you that way. You're an appalling human being from what I understand about human beings, and it's all because you got a shitty ego. And of course, Bullfrog, well, he's 10 times worse. You're his minion. You're his little minion. He winds you up, and for some reason, you want to impress him. Now, just keep calling names and making up shit about. No, not at all, not at all. Rob then says these are Pharisees. Yeah, right. Rob will take it as the victory. I'm not in it for the victory. All I want is the truth. You mean pigeon chess. I don't know what that means. Not a narcissistic personality trait at all. Not evidence of a manic phase. So now you're playing the doctor again, Chaswold. You don't know for sure if that's right or wrong, but you still take the liberty of actually broadcasting it. There we go. That was the sign I needed. But I'm getting some good material here, so I'm going to keep going. Rob, you are showing everyone the evidence I need by doing these hangs. Okay, as you wish. Well, I look at it the other way. Rob, with your delusional states. No delusional states. You read these logs, but you always skip things. No, haven't missed a thing. People say you were pasting it all over the joint. Say to making it fit this narrative where you are one is wrong. Not everyone, Chaz, just people that are bullshit artists. And now, what's Green Soul doing? Frank starts trolling me again. Well, there's only a little bit left, Chaz. ADHD, attention deficit. Oh, Frank. No, Chaz. No. We're done. We're done. I'm just going to read it to myself, Spazwold. Let's see what you're up to. Because I know what you're up to, Spazwald. I've known all the while. So, want me to agree. So, Spazwald says this: want me to agree that your doctors didn't speak to you about your behaviours? No, it couldn't give a shit. All I'm saying to you is I lived that experience and they didn't. Go ring them. Check it out for yourself. You're wrong. You're a liar. You see, Spazwald, what you don't understand is that you broadcast things as if they were fact, right? And you don't have the facts. That's lying, Spazwald. That's delusional, Spazwald. You're a delusional little man. You take on board information, right, from reality. You then embellish on it because you're a gaslighter and you want to have a psychological victory over people. You're a bully. You're a very, very unkind, very, very cruel human being. That's you, Spazwald. That's who you are. And it ain't a lie. Now, clinical assessment requires patient cooperation. This may not be possible if the patient is irritable or aggressive. Well, we actually ran through this, didn't we? Blah, 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 blah. Yep, done that. Yep. Sucka. Well, you're delusional too, Sucka. Now, I can post the link if you want to come in and have a debate, Sucka. But Sucka's a bit of a baby. He's just a little sookie bub. He will only debate me where he's got control of the room. But, I mean, that's a two-way street. Maybe we could do this one first, and maybe I'll consider doing yours second. So the boys will snipe the hangout, but it doesn't matter. We're done. I think, yeah, we're done. So I've just put an invite out there for Sucka baby, Suki Lala, to come in and have a debate. And the topic is, I think he's a cruel and nasty, nasty individual. Now, Chaswold will probably storm in here, Spazwold. But Spazwold, if you do, yeah, here he comes. There you go. Now, Spazwold, you're not going to stay long. This is about, we've heard enough from you. Oh, here we go. Is this Sucka? Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. Now we'll just have to keep you quiet for a minute there. What about that? How's that? How do you like that one? Now, Sucka, if you're going to have our debate, now what he said, what Sucka said, chicken shit. Now, what he was doing, right? Did we? I think we read out a couple of his comments. Sucka is part of this bullying campaign. Yeah, well, I did. Well, Chaswold, I mean, he's going to be a complete idiot all your life. You know exactly what that guy was going to do, and you'll do the same if given half a chance. You just get out there and storm through your agenda, and you just try and stifle mine. No, Chaz, you and I are done. I'm blocking you from here on in. No, we won't. Not at all. We'll have no more discussions, you and I said some pretty serious things. If you are half a human being, you should have recognised that they were real. Got emotional over the daughter scenario. No response from you. You're a cruel, heartless little man. That's you. No. If nothing said by you, if nothing said by you, then we're fine. We're golden. So, you know, I suggest, Chaswell, you go off and live your happy little life. Oh, you're still doing it. You're still doing it. All right, Chaswell, off you go. So I'm going to honour that. I'm going to honour that request. So what Chaswell did there was typically sneaky of him. He's trying to project that, you know, I'm the one annoying him, which is a load of crap. These boys torment me and this is their fun. So, Chaswell, because you won't take the manly thing and you won't block me if I'm such a pest to you, I'm going to block you. And then that's resolved. Okay, well, that was it. End of broadcast. Have a lovely life, Chaswell. Try and wake up. You are a fucking problem. And you're, you know, stop picking on people and being a bully. And learn your information well, is what I'd say. And when you want to debate, what's that about, Chaswell?